Hello. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for coming out.
Not a problem.
Okay, so is the green light on that?
The green light?
Isn't
The
it?
red light's on.
The red light means recording?
It is.
Okay. I thought it was a green light. So I want to update the witness statement that I gave because you asked me if somebody put their hands around someone's neck, and I was
Correct.
like thinking like this.
Okay.
And that's not what happened. It was, I think Marianne had her hands on Jean's shoulders, but in like almost like a desperate plea that, why are you doing this to me, Jean? Or why are you doing this? So it wasn't like a violent manner.
Okay.
If somebody was like trying to say they were being choked out. And then also there was like, I had like a memory jog when you said that somebody said like turn around for the camera, and it's true. Me and Jean were having our confrontation, and then she pretended to play it off like, oh, turn around and smile for the camera, Danielle. And I was so confused turning around because I didn't know what they were talking about.
Okay.
So I felt like that was very manipulative. And then I think the statute that I'm more leaning towards for my victim statement is disorderly conduct. And then the other one, I did take a minute to look it up, the threatening and intimidating, which, I don't know, I felt intimidated when Jean was saying like, the development's moving forward, I know more than you do, you're not elected official, so I don't have to tell you shit.
I don't believe that's going to fall into...
Well, I think that's going to
threatening.
be used as abusive or offensive language to provoke.
Did she ever cuss at you?
Yeah.
So I guess let's go all the way to the beginning again.
Okay.
Is that better for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to when you first had... Okay, let's go to what you were doing prior to having interaction with Miss Bishop. And then let's go into when you and Miss Bishop's conversation. And then let's go to what you observed between Miss Salem touching her, or vice versa, and then let's go to what you did right after.
Okay.
So let's go to what you were doing right before you had contact with her.
So I went to the event to see the sheriff's debate, and I'm running for school board, so I was getting petition signatures to get on the school board. And I had went inside and got myself a smoothie after the event was over, and then I came back out and I saw people were like starting to disperse.
Where'd you go get a smoothie from?
El Cafe.
You went and got a okay.
Yeah. And so when I came out, I was just walking around, kind of checking out the scene, seeing who was around, and then I saw Bishop and her friend leaving, and I was trying to get in touch with her earlier in the week, which she did invite me over to her house on Tuesday evening, but I didn't feel like that was inappropriate. I felt like that was inappropriate, which I have those text messages too, if you'd like to see
What
that.
made you feel like it was inappropriate?
It was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I told her that I was feeling really emotional after the meeting on Monday, and that I wanted to like talk to her in person to find out like what the next step was for like how we can move forward from that.
Okay.
And so she said she wasn't available, but she had been on the phone all day on Monday, and she was going to have time later that evening, Tuesday, when I tried calling her, but then she said text me, so I text her. And then I just didn't feel comfortable going over to her house so late at night because we're not
So
friends.
what was the text exchange?
Do you want me to get it so I can read it to you?
Yeah, if that's what helps you remember, yeah.
So I tried calling her a little bit before 6, and then she said, please text me.
This was on Monday still?
This is on Tuesday night.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I just thought the dust needed to settle.
Now, what happened on Monday that had you wanting to speak to her?
So there was a big rezone proposal in Golden Valley, and I was working with the community. We opposed it, and every time I talked to her prior to that, she just kept telling me things like, I'm like, don't you think they should have provided us a map, Jean? And she was like, why should they have to? Like, they don't have to. And I'm like, okay. Like, I was just trying to talk to her and communicate about the rezone and how the people in Golden Valley felt. She even told me, Danielle, Golden Valley has decided that you're their leader and you have no authority over them. And I'm like, Jean, I'm not trying to have authority over these people, but they need help, and you're who represents them. And so that was like our communication, and everybody who talked to her would call me back and say, she's for it, she's not listening to us, like there's no communicating with that woman.
Okay.
And so I felt it was very contentious at the meeting during the vote and everything, and just how it went down. So it was like on my heart that I wanted to talk to her, but I didn't want to talk to her through a text. I wanted to talk to her in face to face, because I wanted to let her know, like, I wanted to make peace with her and say, like, how do we move forward to make sure Golden Valley has a voice for the general plan update? Because that's ultimately what the board decided to do, was to stop the rezone, so that way Golden Valley has a chance to get their voice heard. So I wanted to get in contact with her about that, to say, like, how do I participate in that conversation?
Okay.
So I called her on Tuesday. She said, please text me. I said, good evening, Supervisor Bishop. I just wanted to talk to you about the meeting yesterday. I felt pretty emotional after the vote, and I felt the need to call and speak directly. And then she said, I've been on the phone for hours now, but hopefully this evening won't see any more business. I'm at home right now if you still want to visit. I said, I understand. I'm already committed to my family the rest of the evening, but we can schedule a time for tomorrow. My schedule's full tomorrow. I said, I'll be up in Kingman again on Thursday morning. If you have any time, I can come by your office. She said, I have a board meeting Thursday morning. And then I said, just let me know when you can find time in your schedule for a call, and I'll try to make it work. Thank you, and have a good night. And then she said the best way would be going through my office assistant, who has access to my calendar. And I said, okay, thank you. But that was Wednesday, and I knew we weren't going to be able to meet up the rest of the week, so I didn't plan on contacting her until Monday, when the office was back open, or Linda, her assistant. So when I saw her at the sheriff's debate, I just thought it would be a good opportunity to touch base with her and just say hi. I wanted to thank her for providing the map that nobody had ever seen before. I thought it was a nice gesture, because that was the least that I thought the developers could do to help the community better understand the development. So that's why I approached her on Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday. So after the debate, I went in, I got my smoothie, I come back out, and then I saw everybody kind of like leaving, and I thought that was a good opportunity to go up and talk to her. So she was walking away. I said, Supervisor Bishop, excuse me, Supervisor Bishop, and she turned around and she was already heated. I could tell, and I was like, hi, like, I want to thank you for providing that map for the rezone. You're not thankful. And I'm like, no, like, I didn't know why she was so mad. So I'm like, no, like, that was the first time we had been able to see the perspective of how big that rezone is in comparison to those other subdivisions. And I said, and you brought up really good questions that should be considered before approving such a massive rezone. And she was just like, you're not thankful. I don't think you're thankful. I'm like, okay. And then she said, you're not an elected official. I don't have to tell you shit. The development is moving forward. I know more than you. And I was just in shock. I couldn't believe that she was talking to me like that. And so I was in shock. And then we started talking about she was like, all you do is oppose, and then you bring your mob up here to the county, and you don't even know what you're talking about. Get your shit together, Danielle. That's what she told me. And I'm like, what the heck? I said, I actually, because then she was like, and you oppose the peaker plant, which that's like a Fort Mohave thing. And that's when her and I started talking, I guess, like more on a civil letter. I was like, well, I actually agree with some of the things that Gould said, that maybe it should go by the landfill because it's far away from residents. So I'm not opposed to everything, but there's nothing wrong with like trying to get the public to participate in the conversation. But then that's when her friend, like when we were having the peaker plant thing, after she totally just insulted me and talked down to me and told me that the thing is moving forward because she knows more than me, that's when her friend was like, stop recording us or something. And I'm like, I'm not recording you. I didn't know what she was talking about. So then that's when Jean was like, turn and smile for the camera. And I turned around, and that's when I saw Salem coming in.
So hold up real fast. So when her friend said stop recording, was she looking directly at you, or did she like look away and say that?
I didn't really see her. I was engaged with Bishop.
You just heard it.
I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm tracking now, so go ahead.
So I didn't know, because I thought she was talking to me when I heard it, but I was like, I'm not recording you guys. And so then that's, I think, when she pointed behind me, and I turned around and I see Marianne, who approached us with her phone up like this. For a quick second, I thought she was coming to defend me. I had no idea what had transpired before.
Who come to defend you, Marianne?
Marianne, which her and I are friendly acquaintances, but I wouldn't call us friends. We are friendly because these are all political people, right? And so I try to have respectable relationships with them.
Sure.
So she walks up, and I'm right here, and she gets super close. Jean steps up, and they are like so close, like this, saying, I don't know how it started, but it was like a fuck you, bitch. No, fuck you, bitch. I could see the spit flying in between their mouths. And then Marianne said something like, why'd you flip me off at work? And Jean said, I'll flip you off again. And then I think that's when, but there was like a swat of the phone and a fingers pointing. I don't know who did what first, but that was because a whole different thing. I had nothing to do with Marianne and whatever transpired beforehand, but I didn't understand why she was recording. I thought she was recording. So
let's back up a little bit. Let's go back to when Miss Bishop had grabbed you and said smile for the camera. When did that happen?
That happened like right when her friend was like, oh, so-and-so is recording. And then I turned around, but I didn't want to take a picture with Bishop because I was
So tell me what
upset.
happened. So tell me how that went. Friend said stop recording, then what happens?
And then Bishop said like turn and smile for the camera, but then
She just verbally told you that? She didn't grab you or anything?
I don't think she touched me.
Okay.
No, I don't think she touched me. So I turned and looked, and then that's why I was so confused. Do you need to get that?
You're fine. No.
Okay. So I was really confused. Like, why is Marianne there? Like, what does she have to do with this? She takes a lot of pictures all the time, so I was thinking maybe she was just documenting it or something. I don't know. And so then they're in their faces screaming, fighting, that whole thing. And I'm like, that's when fingers are swatting, and then Marianne put her hands on Jean's shoulders and was like pleading with her. Why are you doing this, Jean? Like, why are you doing this?
Okay.
After that, I don't know. I was just telling them, ladies, don't do this. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this, because that made me sick. But so then that's when her friend, I think her name's Anna, her and I introduced ourselves, but she's like, I don't do politics. I can't remember if we did that before or after, but she said, we better get out of here or I'm gonna go to jail or something like that. And so that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get shot at the sheriff's debate. Like, I did not come here for this kind of conflict. And I know Jean has a history in law enforcement, and that lady told me she's the head of the K-9 department. So that's what she told me. I don't know if that's true or not.
When did she make that comment? Was this another time?
No, that was the first time I ever met that lady.
So,
but I really can't recall if she introduced herself to me before or after this whole thing, because it was like just the situation needed to be diffused, and I was trying to just diffuse the situation. So, but when Marianne was walking up, when I first thought she was like coming because she was recording what was going on between me and Bishop, I realized it had nothing to do with us, because she was like, "Why'd you tell Leslie Tyler to fuck off or something?"
That's what she said first?
Yeah.
With her phone out?
Yeah. So that's when I knew immediately, like, oh, she's not here to help me. Yeah. So then I was like, what is going on? So I was so confused. And I have no idea what happened beforehand or what made Marianne come over. And that's none of my business. Yeah. These are like lifelong politicians who go way back. And
our initial contact for you is based just off not what knowledge and history you have of them, or what you assume that is going on between them. We're just asking what you observed, because you obviously were you had, I want to use the word front row seats.
It was terrible.
Pretty much to what you had. So that's all we contacted you for. It wasn't for anything. And if sometimes if your story wasn't accurate, it's not a crime. It's what you recollect happened. Right? It's just without footage. That's why we have these things, because we get a lot of statements. Sometimes we're like, man, what did they say? Oh, we got to go back and look at it. Yeah. You obviously don't have that, because you're out in the public and you're just doing whatever you need to, and you just witness something, and we just take, in essence. Yeah. And when I write my reports up, I just put in essence. That means it's not verbatim. It's just a summary of what you had said, right? So because I was just so confused when she turned around and was so mad at me when I was just trying to have a conversation. That's what I was going to ask you. So, how were you positioned? Like,
I was carrying like a little basket with, I think I had my smoothie, and I had my petition signatures and my little flower that they gave me for Mother's Day. And so I just said, like, Supervisor Bishop.
So she was in front of you right here?
She was in front of me. Yeah.
So go ahead and act.
And then she turned around and was just.
Okay, so you guys were facing each other like that.
Yeah.
So where did Marianne come from? Behind you or in front of you?
Marianne came from behind me.
So she was over here somewhere.
Yeah.
And then where was Anna?
She was like over here. So Jean was like closer towards my left, and Anna was that way, and I guess Marianne.
And that's why you thought she was talking to you about the recording, because she came from behind. Mm-hmm. So when she comes from behind, did you step out of the way?
I just turned to see what they were talking about, and then I saw Marianne, but I didn't really know.
So, but they're in each other's face. So where were you at that point?
So, they were like this, and I'm standing right here, like.
So
next
you
to
went.
them.
So you went like this.
So
you gotcha.
I was so close to them. I could have split them up like that, but I didn't want to touch anybody. So I was just going. Okay. Ladies, don't do this.
Okay.
So, I honestly thought they were gonna brawl. It was like a disturbing the peace.
Gotcha.
Disorderly conduct.
And were their voices really loud?
They were kind of gritting through their teeth, spitting at each other. Marianne was shaking. She looked scared. I honestly never thought she'd have something.
So after Marianne put her hands on top of Miss Bishop's shoulders, what happens after that?
That's when she was like, "Why are you doing this, Jean?" And I don't know if I was in shock after that point, but that's when I was saying, "Don't do this, ladies, don't do this." Okay. And then that's when her friend was like, "Jean, we need to get out of here before I go to jail or do something." I can't remember the exact
That's fine.
wording,
You don't have
but
to.
I felt,
So what happens after that?
So then Marianne heads that way, and Jean and her friend take off, I think.
Okay.
And then that was it. I was just kind of standing there in shock, and I didn't really know who to go to.
So what'd you do after?
I think I walked in circles for a little bit, seeing who was around. And then I went and talked to... I think I went up to... I went inside and I sat down for a long time.
In the cafe?
In the cafe,
okay.
yeah. And I told the owner what happened. There were some people who were watching from the window, and they said they saw it unfold too. And then I did talk to a couple people in there. Marianne had come back inside, and she apologized to me.
So it was really close to the cafe?
It was
where they were arguing?
It was outside the cafe in like the parking lot, yeah.
Okay. So let's go to, now is there anything else?
Well, and then when I was sitting there talking to some people, like, I can't believe this happened. Like, I don't even know what to do.
Okay.
Then that's when I got a text from Supervisor Bishop, and I was in shock that she would even ask me for...
And I believe I've seen those texts that she sent to you?
Yeah. And so that's when I got worried, because she said she was making like a sheriff's report. So I because I was leaving to go to the GPLO, the potluck, because I had signed up for like 5 events to get to that day, because I'm getting signatures.
Busy? Sure.
And so I didn't want to just wait around there. I'd already waited around for an hour thinking, well, maybe something, because it was the sheriff's debate. They were here. They were there. Nobody even came and talked to me that day.
That's fine.
So I waited around for about an hour, and then I headed over to the GPLO, and I told Jean that I was going to be there till 7. So I even told the people at the GPLO, like, if the sheriffs show up, they're looking for me, I guess, but I didn't want them to freak out that they were in trouble crashing the potluck. No. So I waited there, and then I had to come back up, and that's to my son's baseball banquet, and that's when I got a call, I think from you, but my phone was on silent.
It's okay.
And so then I was nervous. I didn't want you guys to think I was like running from the scene of a crime or something.
I didn't know. Didn't think that. People get busy. It's Mother's Day.
There's a lot of people
It's Mother's Day.
Yeah, no.
So I like I said, that's why we leave the voicemail, so you can call us back.
Yeah, and so people were texting me saying like the sheriffs are coming or something. And then I got my son, we headed home, and then I saw 2 sheriffs on the highway driving home. I'm
you told me that.
oh. Like,
no.
So I was freaked out. You guys were trying to get to my house.
No. It's nothing need for that. So let's go to, you wanted to be a victim. So the only cuss words were get your shit together, right? And then another shit word? Or?
You're not an elected official, Danielle, so I don't have to tell you shit. But I just feel like there's already retaliation and bullying happening on Facebook too, with some of her people who stick up for her all the time and are trying to get me to make a statement on Facebook and get my... And I said, I'm not making any statements on that platform.
25, clear last.
Because I feel like my words are going to get taken out of context. And then just with her, the way she said, like... I just don't feel safe around her.
But the thing is that you went to her, right? You're the one who went to approach her. She turned around, had her response. And with me doing this for a while, you had the option to walk away, right? Now, I'm not...
Well, I got interrupted to walk away when Marianne came in.
There was no point where you felt like you were trapped right there, right?
Well, a lady
you were always free to leave at whatever point you wanted to. And I'm asking.
Yeah, but I think I was in shock. I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Okay. So, I mean, you can be a victim to disorderly conduct. I'm not trying to put that away from you. I'm just trying to put things in perspective. Now,
I just don't want her. I want to get my statement in there in the report. Because if she retaliates against me because of the development or whatever stuff that's going on in Golden Valley, because this isn't the first time she's done something weird to me. And I don't know if I should add that to my victim statement. But I have the email evidence of her not treating me very well. And so I just don't know. I don't want there not to be a track record if this is an ongoing behavior type of thing.
Well, this is exactly why I'm doing this, so we can have everything documented in case things escalate more from here.
Right.
That's exactly why
and
we're doing this. And the thing
is, like, I have to continue to advocate for my community and what's going on, but I don't want to advocate with somebody who's going to treat me like that if I try to talk to her on not you know, like she's always like, I'm here for you. Nobody calls me, Danielle. Just call me. And then I do it. She's like, I hope you appreciate our candid conversations. And then when I try to have a candid conversation, she does that to me in a public setting. That was so wrong.
And I understand the frustration and why you're upset. Law enforcement wise, if we do discon that you want to be a victim to, I'm going to have to send it to the county attorney.
That's fine.
For them to review. Is that still what you want?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have an email?
I do.
Assuming you do. Okay. Let me go get my... Do you have a business card or anything?
No.
Let me go get my paper. I'll write it down.
Okay.
I'm going to type up everything you said to me. I'm going to try to get it as close as I can to what's on Axon. We'll talk about the charge and then send it to them and see if they want to go with that or if they don't. It's not enough right now for me to go arrest her. But once again, I mean, if you want...
I'm not trying to cause more drama than what's already
Well,
happened
a disorderly conduct charge is a misdemeanor.
I just can't believe the way she treated me, and then to roll around with a woman like that that's going to say something like that in a heated situation. She had the opportunity to turn around and leave too. And she
correct.
didn't.
And not like I said, I was just explaining.
No, I know, but they got in each other's faces. She could have turned around and said, I'm not doing this. And she didn't. And she's the public official, elected official that's representing us. That's not right. I don't want to have to work with somebody like that. And I don't think it's fair that other people in the community should have to be subjected to that either. And I'm not sticking up for Marianne either, because that has nothing to do with the thing that I went through with Jade.
Okay. All right, well, I'll grab your email if you still want to pursue with the charge.
Yes.
And then we'll have this report typed up at some point within the business days, and then it goes from there, okay?
Okay.
Okay, give me a minute. Did you at least have a good Mother's Day?
No, I was sick over this.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. What's your email?
I was just in shock and I couldn't believe it happened. And sorry. No, I've had a freaking migraine since Saturday night.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else you need?
It. No, I just want this to... I don't want it to get worse. And that's what I'm scared of. I don't want it to get worse. And I just feel like if I don't make a statement now, there's a chance that it could come back on me.
Okay.
And retaliate. And then I have nothing in my court to defend myself.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Thank you so much for coming out.
You have a good evening, okay?
You too.
All
Thank you.